Hello and welcome to the channel, YouTube world. As always, there will be a link down in the description box if you want to read these at your own leisure. Got a little music in the background. It's going to be a long patch note, so let's get right into it. Borderlands 3 Update 1.11 is now available for download on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. On the PS4, it's close to 2 gigs. This update added new content, improved stability, fixed some bugs, new content, added support for Revenge of the Cartels, the new seasonal event happening from April 23rd to June the 4th. And, yeah, so let's get right into that. Permanently updated Mayhem mode to Mayhem 2.0. So our cross-cultural researcher Maurice is back, but he's gotten himself mixed up with a rough crowd, and he's now in debt. Okay, that's just for the DLC. Stability. Addressed a reported crash that could occasionally occur when dying and respawning in Slaughter Star 3000. Addressed a reported crash that could sometimes occur after exiting the ammo dump vendor menu. Addressed a reported crash that could sometimes occur after saving and reloading after completing the shoot pipe objective for the Nibblenomicon in Dustbound Archives. Addressed a reported runtime crash. Addressed a reported crash that could sometimes occur when punching enemies with the static touch artifact equipped. Addressed a reported crash that could sometimes occur when loading into a cross-platform game session via an invite. Addressed a reported concern that player would occasionally encounter a hitch when completing a crew challenge. Network and multiplayer. Addressed a reported concern that some players were unable to join the host after being kicked to the main menu and immediately opening the roster menu. Addressed a reported concern that players would not be able to join a host if the host recently changed to a more open network mode. Or concerns that the timers and trials would not stop after the host quit out. Or that players were able to see planets before they are intended to at the hyperspace terminal in their game if they joined a host's game that is advanced further in the game. Addressed a reported concern that loot was spawning at the incorrect level for multiplayer players before the player selected a character. Or an issue with the kaleidoscope dull pistol where it was not firing amped shots for clients when aiming down sights in multiplayer. Addressed a reported concern that the Iridian chest did not always appear for all players in Skywell 27. Addressed a reported replication issue with the Blue Fire boss in Slaughterhouse 3000. Or with character movement replication so that events with movement simulations would appear the same on host and client. Addressed a reported concern that explosive barrels would not consistently appear for players if the barrel was not in view of the host, or with a concern that Ratch would disappear for the client when killing them with gore censored. Yeah, pussy. Addressed a reported concern that players would consistently hitch when any interactive object with the submenu is hit with Atlas tracking darts. Addressed a reported concern that players were being charged more, it's a typo, than the listed price when refilling ammo at an ammo dump vending machine. Or that Mayhem level was not displaying correctly for clients. Or that the host player could appear invisible for clients if the host respawned an outrunner and quickly exited out. And I'll just make sure if you give the video a thumbs down, that won't be the only thing that appears invisible. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, hey, honey. Ah! Okay? I'm just saying. Don't ask what that was. Addressed a reported concern that players would occasionally experience stuttering while driving in a vehicle. Or concerned that vehicle loadouts were not updated properly on the client player. Also a concern that an Iridian crystal could be destroyed multiple times when players would join a game in Skywell 27. Also a concern that the host player, while in Iron Bear, could remain in a client's room when they leave Sanctuary 3. Addressed a reported concern that some players would see the character select screen at the wrong time of day if they joined when the host was viewing the intro, or a concern that the host player's name would not appear properly when joining another player in LAN. Yes, the song's probably going to repeat just to have something in the background. Gear. Added additional SDUs, as long as they're not STDs, you know what I'm saying? For bank size, because STDs are bind on pickup, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, sorry, added additional SDUs for bank-size, backpack-size heavy ammo and sniper rifle ammo. With all the new gear that's arrived via DLCs 1, 2, and events like Broken Hearts Day and Revenge of the Cartels, we thought it was time to expand the bank once again. You can now purchase 100 additional spaces for the bank, as well as 10 more spaces for your character's backpack. With Mayhem Mode 2.0 launching today, we also thought it was appropriate to allow players to carry more heavy weapon ammo and sniper rifle ammo, so make sure to purchase those SDUs and others on Sanctuary 3 addressed an exploit where players could continuously increase stats that are triggered when shields are broken completely or by continuously jumping off the map and dying, such as with the Pangolin legendary shield Band of Sitarak. Addressed a reported concern that the projectiles from the shooting star shield would not spawn properly, or that artifact drops were missing a stat attribute when viewing artifact with a certain combination of primary and secondary stats, or a concern that the combustion effect persisted when traveling after breaking the Storos Burn legendary Kov assault rifle, or that the knife drain artifact was not applying the correct percentage of healing, or that there were artifacts with the knife drain ability lifesteal for 100% of the damage dealt, or a concern that the buzzsaw projectile damage was incorrectly listed when viewing the Road Warrior artifact. Under General, optimized subtitle speed, updated credits, addressed multiple issues that could sometimes occur with the credits when standing in the Iridian water while the cutscene is triggered in Destroyer's Rift, or a concern that players could occasionally lose functionality when fast traveling. Scotty, beam me up, you end up on another planet. Or a concern that players could be left in a slowed down state after leaving a cinematic. Or report a concern that preview images on the map would remain visible when viewing various other icons and challenges throughout the Echo menu, or with placeholder texts appearing in the Echo map while in Cathedral of the Twin Gods, or with a placeholder text was present on the Echo map and users were unable to reach the orbit view during the Great Vault in the Cathedral of the Twin Gods. That's been addressed. And also that a concern that the players were unable to fast travel while other players were joining. Also, that the host player would be unable to fast travel to a travel station in the same map while another player was in a vehicle. Or that the fast travel station icon did not display properly or correctly when activated by another player in Floodmoor Basin. Or that Sanctuary 3 would be deselected when quickly scrolling through the fast travel list. Or that the level travel station is not properly displayed for the drop pod in Sanctuary 3. Or that named NPCs on Sanctuary 3 were not able to be interacted with during the Beneath the Meridian. Again, if you give the video a thumbs down, I'll make sure nobody's going to be able to interact with you down below, you know what I'm saying? There's not going to be any interaction there. No one's going below your meridian. Don't ask. I just like being silly and goofy. Addressed a reported concern that face FX would stop working some sequences, or a concern that Handsome Jackie's shield drone would not replicate properly for players, or that aim assist would jitter when aiming at loot guardians. It's because it's telling you grow some fucking balls, you know what I'm saying? Free aim that shit or use a mouse and keyboard. Cache pickups now level sync correctly. Addressed a reported concern that Mayhem mode would remain active after resetting mission progress in the Vaulter Hunt mode. I think that's what that means. Addressed a reported concern that the Iridian Husk could not be destroyed in the Cathedral of the Twin Gods. Addressed a reported concern that voiceover dialogue would repeat when listening to an echo log in split screen. Well, that's what an echo is. Shit repeats itself. So. That's an echo. Go. Obviously, it's going to repeat itself. Addressed a reported concern that enemy vehicles could suddenly disappear. Well, yeah. It's like the Romulans in Star Trek. Now, I am going to stop the music, because the patch notes were a lot longer than I thought, and I don't think anybody wants to hear that music a third time. I need to find more music that's copyright-free, that I just need to copy and paste the link to the credit, and that's it. There's not a lot of that around. A lot of them, you got to buy the music. That one's free, and I'm cheap. So, addressed a reported concern that players could spawn into the incorrect map if they signed out during a map transition. Or that the screen would shake and the controller would vibrate when that player hijacks the flamethrower turret in Sandblast Scar. Addressed a report of concern that the day-night cycle would suddenly change during Tyrene fight on Destroyer's Rift. Or that players could be left unable to hear each other if a player connects a headset while the title was suspended. Did you catch on to what I was trying to do there? That was me trying to be funny. We also, well, not me, I have nothing to do with it. They addressed a report of concern that players were able to turn in a teammate's vehicle for parts if the teammate respawns their vehicle while another player is in it. Or a report of concern that special damage text was not localized. Or that the iridium surrounding Tyrene's arena in Destroyer's Rift does not damage the player when the player slides through it. Generally, when you slide through anything, you're going to get damage. But, yeah. A report of concern that the beam attack from the Grave Ward's head did not do the appropriate amount of damage. When selecting a level transition in the zone map, the viewed map is now changed to where you would go. Makes sense. Where was it showing you before? Addressed a report of concern that Logitech equipment would flash its respawn colors non-stop when entering spectator mode and takedown, or that players who are in spectate mode would gain experience from other players' kills and takedown. Well, that's co-op right there. Addressed a report of concern that objects and characters in motion will shake or jitter when viewed in photo mode while the motion blur settings are enabled. Or that the icons for weapon parts within the inspection menu appeared as question marks when in Chinese. Ni hao! I gotta learn some more Chinese. I love their language. It's amazing. It's got a wicked sound. Addressed a report of concern with the EchoCast extension where a viewer could bring up multiple Moxtail event when donating bits just as the timer is about to go to the voting phase. Addressed a report of concern that random actors could be teleported when playing a level sequence. PS4 only. Addressed a report of concern that an unresponsive screen was displayed when booting the title on PS4. Or that killing a behemoth enemy during their rocket attack causes the attack to persist after death. Give me a minute, I apologize. I don't know how much longer I have. Oh man, I might actually have to go soon. This is... oh, come on. This is nuts. I don't even know. Like, I seriously might have to... yeah, that's insane. Wow. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know how much longer I actually have to do this, but I'm going to try to get through as much of it as possible. Sometimes it happens that the patch notes are just too long, and I just don't have that much time. So I'm going to try to quit dicking around and just get into it. Addressed a report of concern that the subtitles of the intro cinematic for Moxie's heist of the Handsome Jackpot were not localized. I think I already read that. Or that NPCs were not fighting during the Guns of Reliance mission. Or that the minimap icon did not display for the Moxie Tail drink event. Or that the Marcus Skip cinematic cutscene voiceover was not localized when attempting to access Guns, Love and Tentacles, the marriage of Wainwright and Hammerlock, fixed a reported issue where the black texture were present throughout. Or that Vaughn's cape would be stretched while driving during Angels and Speed Demons in Sandblast Scar. Or a concern that the map transition counter would not be visible to players. Added previous micro patches to the game code. Yeah, I am going to have to go, unfortunately. But I'll put that in the description, that it was a partial narration, because I was just too... I'm too strapped for time. We're already like 15 minutes in. Yeah. So we got a bunch of audio stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can even like pause it kind of thing. So what I'll do is like a weird scroll down. And hopefully you can kind of like read that if you want to do that. Like pause it at any time. Borderlands science. Concerns with incorrect science boosters, all that kind of stuff. They did some stuff for the characters. Notice how I'm trying to, buffs for Mosey the gunner during their investigation, blah, blah, blah. So they did some stuff to that. Again, you can pause that if you have to. I know the idea of me I don't think anybody listens to me narrate all these patch notes, but it has to do with that character and Siren's character and some stuff with Siren I can see. And Beastmaster, right? I'm trying to skip through this really quickly. Yeah, a lot of stuff for the character. Beastmaster royalties head. Yeah, so just kind of read that quickly, like I said, if you need to pause it. I don't think anybody's going to do it that way. They might as well just click on the link, to be honest with you. But I'm just doing it in case. FX, just some effects shit was fixed. Plain and simple. So that's good. Some mission stuff was fixed. That's good. I know that's so vague, eh? Wow. UI stuff was fixed. And, man, they did a lot. This is a huge patch. But again, you know, ultimately, in the end, and it's not an excuse, the main point of these videos is to even let you know that the update is out. Sure, what it entails is a bonus, but it's generally because I think people are going to want to read them at their own leisure. EchoCast. Patch notes, hotfix patch notes. Again, those are server side only when you're connected to the internet. So there's all that there. And just me rambling on, and that's it. I apologize. Hey, like I said, if I could, I would. I really can't. I seriously gotta go. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. You didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. We already know what's gonna happen to you if you do that. If you want to subscribe to the channel, obviously that'd be great. And if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, boys and girls, or whatever it is you identify as. And as always, I shall see you all, or maybe some of you, or maybe none of you, in the next video. Bye for now.